Everybody, we're here. We're still here. We'll be back June 5th. No, June 5th, July 5th. See, I'm already
July 5th. Excited for July 5th because we do have a lot of stuff in store for people, and it's going to be really good.
We've got Independence Day to talk about.
Oh, yes.
We've got Father's Day to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
We've got Juneteenth to talk about.
What's that?
Just kidding. And, of course, back to our regular politics, presidential things. You know, Biden, he's been kicking under the rug a little bit. He got his first little angry, aggressive take on the media, so we're going to be digging into that. And, of course, Kamala's beautiful rendition of how beautiful Juneteenth is. So we'll be getting to that. So make sure you guys stick around. Don't count us out yet. Season 2's coming, and I promise you it's better than ever.
Plus, my favorite bit.
I'll piss you off shortly. Yep, that's racist.
Love it.
Make sure you guys are here. July 5th. I keep saying June. Damn it. July 5th. Monday night, 8 p.m. Me and Joe will piss you off shortly.
Season 2.
Peace.
On tonight's show of Speaking It Real, Frank and Carlos revisit last week's show, as well as Patrick Beverly's unsportsmanlike behavior and Bill Cosby being released from prison. All that and so much more right now.
Coming to you live from Clearwater, Florida. It's Speaking It Real. Here's your hosts, Frank Cuesta and Carlos Contreras.
You know, I hear the intro to our show and I love it more every week. It's like you have Zach's voice, which is a generally peaceful voice. I think Zach could calm anyone down. He should be like working with terrorist negotiators or hostage negotiators, and he should just talk shit and it would work. Whoever it is that's holding people hostage will eventually want to come out and have a sandwich with the guy. It is awesome. And then the little guitar. It is great. And Joe actually said my last name right. That is awesome.
Yeah, but you know what, Carlos? That's just like talking politics, you know, where Joe
I'm
and
a hostage negotiator. I'm a terrorist.
No. I mean
I
that
see where you're going.
I you know where I'm going. Where Carlos will argue with you, whether he agrees with you, whether he doesn't agree with you. Guess what he does? He sits there and he smiles.
And we'll have a sandwich.
You know, I mean, hell, you might as well. You could probably have a beer together and still laugh it off. I mean, hell, talk about drinks and alcohol. You know, I do want to talk about first thing. By the way, I'm Frank.
I'm Carlos.
And it's Friday night. So, you know, but I want to revisit the last 20 minutes of our show last week.
Well, I have to ask you a question. Before you revisit the last 20 minutes of the show last week, do you even remember the last 20 minutes of the show last week?
No, I don't. Okay, I had to go back and watch it on Saturday morning. All right. And I will tell you something. I have never laughed so hard, all right, in my life.
It was fun.
Okay. All I know is that you and Dan were trying to get me off, and I just kept on dropping F-bombs.
Yeah.
Saying no.
Your words were getting longer and longer. It was hilarious. Probably. It was good. It was good. I think we lost Frank. He is frozen. All right. So Frank's got some new technology he's working with. And
I'm back.
There we go. All right.
Hey, look, excuse the issues today, guys. I'm on a different computer. I'm still waiting for parts to come in. I'm on Wi-Fi.
He's on Sri Lankan Wi-Fi.
I hope not. You know, but hopefully we'll get everything sorted out here shortly. You know,
Yeah.
But you know, last week's show was pretty cool.
It was groundbreaking. I have to say.
Yes.
I mean, I think out of what 20, I lost track. 4, 5, 6 shows, whatever we've done now. That has to be the first one where
28.
28. I'm losing track. One of us was completely inebriated or chemically induced, whatever you want to call it.
I was completely drunk. I was completely trashed. It didn't matter.
It was
fun.
Who cares?
I mean, look, think about this. My day started off great. I got to the airport. I was drinking at the airport. I was like, "Hey, I'm going. Hey, Mom."
Hi, Celia.
Mom's there.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Mom. Yeah, that's my mom. That's my mom.
Mom. Oh, wow.
And I'm sure she has some other people
sorry.
I'm sure she has other people at her house watching us. So.
Oh, okay.
So, think about it. I started drinking at 11:30 in the morning.
God, anybody does
that. And I didn't finish until 10:30 at night, till we finished the show. So I don't remember a whole lot at the end of the show. But either way,
you're brave, bro. When I hear anybody starts drinking before like 3 p.m., my head hurts just trying to imagine that. Like, oh.
Well, you know what? I do remember. I do remember saying that I was going to go to my mom's house and drink her wine.
Yeah. I don't know if Mama let that happen. I'm hoping, if she hit you over the head if you did show up and even try.
Mom, I'm going to your house to drink your wine today. I'm sober.
He's sober now, so it's fine.
Yeah. So
but
that's where
you had your hopes up. You were ready to go meet Emperor Palpatine himself, Mr. Aguiar, and the crew, and it went south on you. That sucks. You were looking forward to it. I'm sure you were you were psyched up and ready, and threw that at you. And they couldn't even offer you an alternate flight. That doesn't make sense to me. That's the part that I can't understand. I've been in those situations where they overbooked or a flight got canceled. They're supposed to take care of you and put you on a different plane, or if they can, maybe sometimes they'll tell you have to come back tomorrow. And I think
I'll be honest. I think that they might have, if I would have stayed in the counter and I gotten pissed off.
Right. Yep.
I
mean, come on, dude. I mean, you're Cuban. We're good at that. We're good at that. So you should have tossed a few bombs out there, but
it is what it is.
Frank, you're gonna have to be on your best behavior from what I'm seeing here.
Everybody is watching. Be careful what you say.
You're gonna have to behave.
You see, no wine today. You see. There's my mother. No wine. What? Not good. Cerveza.
Oh,
so
just bad.
Going on to, we're gonna talk a little bit of sports. We haven't spoken sports in I don't know a long time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's been an interesting week in sports. Where do you want to begin?
Well, we're gonna start off with what's her name? Gwen Berry. Gwen Berry's the
activist athlete.
Yes, the activist athlete.
Right.
Now, do we think that she's right? She's wrong? I mean, she won what? Bronze medal in one of the races. She got third place.
Mm-hmm.
And she kind of did things that you shouldn't do. Well, depends. It depends on how you look at it. I mean,
how do you look at it, Frank?
I'm a little conflicted on it, just for the fact that, see, here she is. There she is. So she's there. There, that's when you understand. And the American anthem's playing, and she turns away.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Is this the right stage for her to do it?
It's the Olympics. That's it's not the NFL. It's a little different. I'd probably, I think like the Olympics is an event where the premise of it is you're representing your country. So, I mean, it's happened before. There has been protests in the Olympic events before. But I think if you look at the picture, and I think you look at her, the look on her face, it's
I've got
just
the whole
like,
family watching today.
wow, you really got to behave.
Me voy a portar bien, te lo prometo, Aleida.
Oh my God.
Go ahead, continue. So anyway,
Español. Wow. So she just looked annoyed. It wasn't even a protest. It was just annoyed. And that's just like, all right. Then you can start, I think you can fairly begin to start hailing the accusations of just being disrespectful. I know when it came to Kaepernick, people were debating not just the anthem, I get it, but was it disrespectful? And I think there was, a consensus that, yeah, being on a knee isn't the worst thing in the world. It is a protest, but, the argument was whether it should be there or not. I get it. But that was his thing. And according to the stories, it was a veteran who told him to take a knee, that it's still not a sign of disrespect. So he at least made the attempt to try to not be disrespectful versus putting your hand on your hip and looking like you're wasting time, or you're like, that look you get when you're in line and like the person at the cash register is taking forever to pay for something and you start getting that face. That's what she looked like.
all right. So let me ask you then: would you prefer if she took a knee instead?
I mean, I get okay. If you're gonna ask me in from the perspective of a preference, sure, yeah, I would prefer that. Again, though, I think now we're it's the issue here again. Though it's the Olympics where you're actually going to represent the U.S. That allows for more scrutiny. I mean, even the committees, I think the Olympic committees have banned it. Like there's no protesting. They're gonna fine or ban, I forgot exactly, but they've made rules on this. So they want no protesting at these events. And so there she goes, and she even put a shirt on her head. It said activist athlete.
Right.
I almost want to say she was just trying to look for a quick buck from Nike to get some publicity and like, ooh, I protested too. Get a commercial or two in there, maybe a shoe with her name on it or something. But I mean, you'd be surprised why people do things. They'll do anything. Now, if she genuinely feels that way, fine. But this ain't the stage. I don't think so. I mean, you never did get your point across, though. What were your thoughts on all this?
I don't think it's a bad thing. I just think that when you turn yourself away from the flag, and just all that audience and all that hype, I think that's where it looks bad. I think maybe her demeanor is what did it. Because I mean, the fact that she turned away doesn't bother me as much as her demeanor with it. And you could tell a lot of, from a person by their demeanor. Is she an activist? Yeah, fine. I get it. I understand what she's doing. I don't agree with her demeanor on it. Just that shit face, that, oh God, I got to stand for this. No, you know what? Handle it different. I mean, look, Kaepernick did his thing. He took a knee, but he had that straight face demeanor. Just
right. He just took a knee.
In her case, it's where she's saying, "Gosh, like I hate this country."
That's what it looks like, right? She's annoyed. That's right, and they're telling her, if you don't like the country and you don't want to represent it, why are you even there? So it's a fair. I think it's a fair accusation to hurl at her. And again, just her demeanor, like she just looked genuinely annoyed, and that's like, okay.
And that's the bothersome part. It's where you're looking completely annoyed, because again, and I'll bring back Kaepernick. Kaepernick, didn't look annoyed, when he did his stuff, So I'm in that case, I'm like, all right, I could deal with that. I could, I didn't like it at the time. I didn't. at the time I was bothered by it. I didn't understand it. As to at the very very beginning, I wasn't understanding the whole movement. So I was like, nah, screw him. But nowadays I understand it a lot more. Because at the beginning, again, it was very fresh, very not knowing what it's about.
Right. I hear you. I mean, I still don't really agree with what he was doing, but I also said he has a right. I mean, I am a proponent of people being able to express themselves, so I can't have issue with it, but I can not like it.
Right, of course.
So, and that's where I stand on that. So yeah, I think that's the story with her. And honestly, I'm okay with the scrutiny she's getting. I still think, again, it's just my opinion. She's trying to like make an opportunity out of it, and because corporations are paying bucks for people who do this kind of stuff now. I mean, Kaepernick did make millions, didn't he? Nike threw millions at him for his protesting. So
yeah, but now where's Kaepernick now?
He's enjoying himself quietly with his millions. I mean, he'll probably pop up again and whatnot, but he got paid. He got paid for protesting, basically. So,
well, I'm going to tell you who hasn't, or maybe he has protested, but I'm going to tell you that I think as a sports person, he's a piece of garbage.
Okay.
And Patrick, there's my son talking to my mom.
All right.
I'm going to tell you that Patrick Beverly,
I believe I kind of know what this is about. Is he the dude that pushed Paul?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, yes. Man. Can you show the clip? That's just insane. Like, I'm trying to honestly. I saw the clip where it was literally just him walking by and then boom. Okay, right there. What happened? Like, it's still not an excuse, but let's see. Were they losing already at this point?
Yeah, they're getting their asses kicked.
So, okay, he makes a 3, kind of rubbing salt in the wound. I get it. He's got that look, which is fine. I mean, there's nothing wrong with.
We missed a push somewhere on there.
Yeah, no, this looks like it's after the push.
Yeah, I think they're gonna replay it. There it is. Watch it. He comes up
and he just shoves him.
Look, let me tell you, I got lots of issues with this.
Yeah.
Okay. So my issue here are several. Number one, this guy's an athlete.
Yeah.
Okay. As an athlete, you get paid thousands of dollars.
I'd say even more.
Yeah. I'm just putting it on the low end. All right. But you get paid a nice chunk of money.
True.
Okay. So you have kids that are watching the game. You have kid athletes that watch the game.
Mm-hmm.
This man, I've seen him play for years. I see the intensity he comes up with, and he's very intense. But
you're talking about Beverly, right?
Beverly, yeah. Chris Paul's also intense, and Chris Paul is a hell of a player. Beverly's always been a little dirty-ish player, but that's going too far. Number one, he's not a man. Because you want to know why? Because what man is going to push another man in the back? That's a coward. To me, it's a coward.
Sneak attack.
Okay? So, it's stop being a sore loser. Because all this was because they were losing. All right? What are you teaching these kids? You're a role model for all these, these kid athletes. I could tell you that when I was coaching football and even basketball, I would tell my son, hey, you play hard. Let's see. Zach sucks. Dude is legit trash. All talk, never follows up his game. He's just mad. He's on a shitty team. Zach, I will disagree with you. The fact that he's on a shitty team, I think he was on a pretty good team.
Legit trash. I love those words. Legit trash.
But I think that
authentic crap.
Look, I would always tell my son, that when he's playing sports, play hard, play aggressive. I've always told both of them, play hard, play aggressive. You know what? Can you be a little dirty? Yeah, you can get away with some things because it's part of the game. All right. Hello, look, you're in the bottom of a freaking pile in tackle football. All right, start pinching guys. They're gonna move. All right.
Oh man,
it was because they were losing, and he said his feelings got to him. He had apologized and made a post about it, but still, I don't agree with what he did. Exactly. Okay, look.
Actually, to add to Danny's point, his excuse is weak. I'm looking at an article here on the Post, and here's what he said. Emotions got the best of me last night, gang. My bad. It wasn't meant for you. So now he's essentially saying, yeah, I didn't even mean to push Paul. So who the hell was he pushing? So now
his emotions?
His emotions. Look. Now he's like trying to get through this nonsense that, yeah, I didn't mean to push him. It was meant for someone else or something. That's garbage. Wow. You can't even own up to it. That's weak. Weak sauce. Go on, Frank.
Yeah, well, again, it goes back to that. It's, you know what? It's a game of emotions. You're emotional. I get it. But you have to keep them in check. You have to keep them in check. If you don't keep them in check, then you know what? You're useless. At whatever point of the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it'll come back to bite you. I mean,
at whatever point of the game.
We've seen in history, players that lose their cool and they end up hurting someone else on the other team. I've seen it in football. I've seen it in hockey.
Hey, look, you know what?
I've even seen it in NASCAR, where a driver will purposely spin someone out into a wall. And dude, think about it. You just sent a guy flying into a wall at 170 miles an hour because you're mad.
I'm going to tell you what
it's kind of crazy.
Look, when and maybe I shouldn't be saying this, but I'm going to say it anyways.
Oh,
because
you sure?
Because we're on speaking it real, right? And we speak it real.
Oh, right? That's true.
So when my youngest was playing basketball, I mean, it's, everyone that knows me knows that I've normally have coached my kids in some type of sport, at one point or another when they played. And you know what I always told my youngest? If this guy's playing hard on you, play harder.
Okay.
This guy drops a shoulder on you, drop yours lower. Is there a foul involved? No. Especially when you're playing basketball, yes.
Oh, okay.
I told my son, because he had a kid that was just egg and just kept on pushing him. I told my son, I said, look, just do a hard pick. Simple. Stand there, drop your shoulder on him. Granted, he got called the foul for a moving pick because he moved. But you know what?
He didn't keep his feet planted.
You know what? The kid never came back and played hard on him again. That's just part of the game. But when you turn around and you push somebody in the back like that, that's some coward shit.
It sends a bad message. I mean, that's one of the things I love. Have you ever watched hockey playoffs, Frank?
I haven't watched them in years. I know they just went on, and I think there's a new hockey champion now or something like that. But
it looks like the Bolts are going to repeat. I mean, I don't know how tonight's game is going, but dude, hockey playoffs. All right, first of all, we're talking about hockey, which is, I'd say, one of, if not the most violent sport out there. I mean, next to cage fighting, I suppose. But, I mean, these guys are just slamming each other, beating each other. It's brutal. And yet, at the end of a playoff series, they line up on the ice and literally shake each other's hand. And it's I played like roller hockey in Miami Beach many years ago, and I could see how people lose their cool playing hockey. That is an ultra frustrating game. Getting your stick whacked and the gloves and all this nonsense. Dude, you want to just kill somebody after about 10 minutes of that. And so it's amazing when you see these guys just shake hands like, yeah, man, hey, great series. Like, it's cool. And that kind of stuff needs to happen more in sports. And hockey's a great example of that. But even hockey's guilty. Don't get me wrong, man. Like, I've seen hockey players get mad and the cheap shots
but you know
to
what?
the waist.
Hockey is
people
known
like,
for that. Hockey's known
yeah,
for
but
that.
still, even cheap shots in hockey will get you killed. You got to be careful.
I understand that, but when you look at the sports in general, you know, your aggressive sports.
Yeah, see, basketball's not aggressive. I mean,
right? You have football,
you're fouled for touching someone.
You are nowadays,
Yeah.
right? So you know, it's one of those where Beverly just needs to relax, take it easy, and play for another day.
Yeah.
In this case, the season ended. I get it, but I don't think that it was all called for. And at the end of the day, guess what? Not Paul George. I'm sorry, Chris Paul. Chris Paul's like, hey, you're out. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah, you still get the last laugh. You're right.
Who laughs last best, my friend.
That's true. That's true. I mean, yeah, hopefully, I think everybody looked at the incident in a negative way. So I believe that those who, even the kids that you were referring to, they'll see that as ugly and they'll register it. I doubt it's going to be anybody going, you know what? That's a good idea. It came across as ugly. It'll be registered as ugly, and I think people will learn from it. Hopefully Beverly does too.
I don't think that guy will ever learn. But you know what? That is what it is. You know, what can you do about this guy? Not a damn thing.
It's up to him, isn't it?
Definitely. But you know what? We're gonna take a quick break. Remember, guys.
Break.
Yeah. We're gonna take a little coffee break a minute. And we'll come right back to you guys.
Hello, my name is Joe Aguirre. I'm the president of Clovercrest Media Group. And here at CMG, we have a wide variety of podcasts, including sports shows like Keys to the City, The Roll Call, Throwing Jabs, All Four Downs, and Jawing About the G-Men. And great true crime shows like Sticky Week, Crimes and Consequences, Ivy League Murders, and Bird, the unsolved murder of David Eichmann. You can find all these podcasts and so much more by visiting clovercrestmedia.com.
So we're back.
He calls himself president. There's a darker term for Joe.
For Joe?
Still think he's just emperor, dark lord.
I don't know. Look, that's Joe. Joe's the president, obviously, of Clovercrest Media. We are brought to you by Clovercrest Media. We have over 40 different podcasts. And you know what? I'm upset at that commercial. Zach, we could no longer play that commercial because you know what? He doesn't talk about speaking it real. What happened there, Zach? When I give Joe pow
inner strife. Here we go. This is how it goes down.
Hey, look, he didn't talk about speaking it real. He didn't talk about divided we stand. I don't think he spoke about I'll pitch you off shortly. He didn't talk about the HHW show, the wrestling podcast.
I'm going to give some cover here to the Dark Lord. I mean, if you're absolutely right, Frank, he didn't mention any of those. However, it would be a testament to the success of his growing group if he were to start listing every show. He'd have his own podcast just talking about his shows. That's a lot of shows. So that's a good thing. It's a good thing for Joe that he can't even fit the whole lineup in. So we'll cut him some slack.
I know you don't mess with the president. Hey, you know what? I just did. As a matter of fact, speaking of the president, I am gonna formally apologize to him. I called him last night. I called him last Friday after the show.
Oh God.
Yes, I did. Good for him that he didn't answer the show.
Hey, Joe.
I'm going to tell you how the call went. I probably did this.
Did you leave a voicemail?
Yeah.
Oh, I hope Joe says
I got the voicemail. I go, hey, hey, Joe.
Yeah.
The show is all fucked up. Click. I guarantee you that's how it went. You know,
I think you said it too fast. I'm sure there's an extra 10 seconds of you stretching that shit out. Hey, Joe, the show is fun.
I could imagine. So,
oh, man.
let's see. We're going to go into. At one point, this guy, I believe, was America's favorite dad, was it? He had those popsicles commercials.
Yep.
There are popsicle commercial, right?
Pudding, Jello pudding pops.
Jello pudding.
Jello
There you
pudding
go.
pop.
There you go.
Yep.
Mr. Bill Cosby.
Man, talk about a rise and fall. Mm-hmm. It breaks my heart. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't feel pity. You know, he did some. It's just I didn't see it coming. Really, I wow. when all of that went down and I started hearing about what he was doing, it was like him. Whoa.
Well,
but hey, you know, Ted
I'm going to tell you this. He got out on a technicality.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
As I spoke about this a little bit on Wednesday night. I don't agree with him getting out. All right. I think he should have stayed in because I surely do believe he did what he did. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. But the biggest problem that I have here is why do people wait so long to come out?
Well, so let's look at the history of the Cosby case a little bit from what I know. If anybody in the comments wants to clarify anything, by all means, please do. We don't pretend to be experts. We just like to talk about stuff. He dealt with this years ago. This is not new. These charges, he dealt with them a while ago. And the way it was dealt with, I think it was settled in court. And I believe there was some NDA, some non-disclosure agreements or something. The bottom line is, though, they settled, and this was dealt with. Then the Me Too movement happened, and his situation resurfaced, and it went to court, and he was tried, and then he went to jail. Frank, if I'm not mistaken, I think the issue here is an issue of double jeopardy. You know what that is, right?
Yeah, being charged for the same crime twice.
You can't. You can't. And so I think because of this, the Me Too situation, the prosecutors and the courts back then felt pressured and they went through the process and put him in jail. But technically, he should have never gone. This situation was said and done with before. And this kind of reminds me a little bit of Chauvin, where even though we all agree that he got what he deserved, I think those of us who observed the court and we learned the details about the jurors and things like that, where, you know, I can't say he honestly got a fair trial. He should still.
You don't think that man? You know what? That man got what he deserved.
No. You're not listening to me.
Sorry, I took off my headphones.
I didn't say he didn't get what he deserved, but it's pretty clear that the process itself wasn't necessarily fair. You're not supposed to have partial jurors. The whole point is this. I think what scares me about things like Cosby and even things like Chauvin is when our court procedures and our laws start getting skirted or things aren't concrete, it becomes a problem. It's dangerous, man. You can feel how you want to feel about anybody in any trial for whatever crime. Doesn't matter. So-and-so did crime X. He deserves 10 electric chairs. Fine. But if the process for him to get to the chair isn't fair, then it can be unfair for anybody. And in our system of justice, dude, that has to be something that has to be preserved, monitored carefully. You don't ever want to think that somebody was sent for unfair reasons. And Cosby in this case, if I'm understanding correctly, dude, He got thrown in because of pressure from Me Too, but the point is, he never had any business going. It was already dealt with.
Well,
It was already dealt with.
The issue there was that he had made a deal with a prosecutor back in 2005, I want to say, or 2006, where he was not going to get no prison time as long as he said that, what had happened, or he agreed to whatever charges there were.
Okay, right.
So that is what happened with him there. And again, I mean, look, he got out on a technicality. I think the man should still be in. As an actor, I think he was a great actor.
Yeah, but that's irrelevant now. But I hear you.
Right, but I'll tell you this: I stand and I believe that these women that came out and accused him need to do it sooner.
So that's yeah.
This is simple, man. If I could understand if we're talking about kids, okay, and they come out 5-10 years later after they understand life and what life really is, I understand that. But we're talking about adults, okay? That the way I see it, and again, I don't see it as everybody does. I see things in a totally different way sometimes. But the way I see this is that these women went to him. They partied together. Obviously some of them, he said, "Here you go," boop, and maybe he threw a pill in their drink. Okay,
right.
But you got to come out and say something then. Not wait 10-15 years. Why? Because you're scared of your reputation?
Well, I mean, it's not just reputation. There's also, shame. There could be guilt. I mean, there's a lot of emotion involved in just coming out like that. And it's easy for you and I to sit here and talk about it.
Right.
And I mean, from a common sense standpoint, if we just remove all the emotional factors of what you're saying, you're right. They should come out sooner. Easily said, right? But yeah, you start getting into the minutia of the details of so much emotion. Sometimes they don't even want to think about it. Like they'd rather just put it behind them and just ignore it. I mean, who knows what psychologically they go through that delays the reaction you're describing. And it's easy for us, from behind microphones to kind of wonder why. However, though, I mean, you can't argue with the fact that if they were to do as you said, I'm sure that results for these things would be much more effective and it would be quicker. There's no arguing that. But you got to take into account what it takes for a woman or, even a man, if it ever happens to a man, to come out and have to say, look, this happened to me. And you got to get into the details. You have to relive the moment. It's so easy. It's easier said than done. And so I kind of understand it. What I don't like is politically, and when these things happen to politicians, it always happens at election time. Like to me, then it's like, why is it always now? Right now, it always seems to happen right before they're going to vote. Well, that's when I get skeptical. But in this case, it was dealt with. Like this was handled in court, or at least handled by a prosecutor. And I wish I could find out if she or the women involved signed off on, the agreement from back then. But this was handled. He was promised no jail time, so you can't throw him in jail. If that's entrapment essentially. You can't. Frank, tell me the truth, and I promise you I won't get you in trouble. All right, Frank tells me the truth. Great, cuff him. You can't. You can't do that now. You can't do that years later. That's just not how it works. So he got thrown in because of a movement, and he wasn't supposed to. I hate to say it.
I don't know.
So he's free now, and
he's free. He's free,
and but again, the fact that he went back in Whether you think he deserved it or not is irrelevant to what I'm going to say. I got to stress that. The fact that the process was curbed again over an emotional movement to me is dangerous. It's dangerous. That has no place in the courtroom. None of that nonsense should have any effect in the courtroom. The courtroom should be the one place where outside emotional pressures and political movements and all that nonsense have no place in the courtroom. They never should be, and hopefully they never will. But as we can see, it happens from time to time. And that's my fear. That's my biggest fear in all of this. It's my biggest fear. So, okay. But yeah, he's out and probably enjoying a Jell-O pudding right now. You know?
Yeah, definitely. Probably that freaking guy.
What are you gonna do?
There's not much we could do.
No, man. If you want to blame anyone, you blame the prosecutor who told him basically straight up, "I won't arrest you if you tell me the truth." Okay, that sealed his deal. That was it. That's what he was promised.
So let me ask you. Like I actually today was my last day at my old job, I guess.
Wait, is this counseling with Carlos?
Nope. Not counseling with Carlos at all.
All right.
And yeah, we haven't had those sessions. Everything's been pretty quiet.
Well, you self-medicated last time. I mean, I could have talked to you, but no.
Yeah,
you took matters into your own hands.
Oh, yes, I did. Yes, I did. You know what, though? I think we're going to bring Dan on again, probably, hopefully next week.
Oh, cool.
So I would love to hear his take on how he saw me inebriated.
I'm sure.
Because we used to work together. So we used to go on, we took a company trip. So he saw me inebriated at one of those job functions. So I would love for him to compare that one to this one. You know.
Yeah. You're drinking more maturely now.
Oh, yeah. So, going back to what I was saying is today was my last day at a job.
All right. Changes are coming.
Yeah. But now, let me give you a little history on...
I think somebody just found out.
That Dan had gone on a company trip with me. Yeah, she knows I had some to drink.
No, I think she just found out about the job.
No. She knows about the job.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, go ahead.
Are you crazy? I live with her.
That's what I'm just like, well, wait a minute. You just said this and this pops up. I'm like, did you not tell her?
Nah, I think she's a little behind.
Okay. All right.
So going back to that, I'm going to say we're 2021. Between 2003 to 2021.
And that's 18 years. Okay.
18 years. I've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about close to 10 jobs. She's at Walmart.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So
I've had about close to 10 jobs. Now, between 2003 to 2011, I had one job.
Okay. You had 8 years of one job, and then you've been kind of playing hopscotch. All right.
Correct. Now, some were self-inflicted. Okay, as to why I changed jobs.
I love that.
All right. Some were not. Look, okay. When I left the airport and I jumped into what I do now, which is freight forwarding, the first job I got to, I had a lack of training. I made a mistake. I made the same mistake twice without knowing.
No bueno, man.
Well, I had no idea I even made a mistake.
Twice? No excuse, right? Twice?
It was. Hello, listen. It was back to back. I had no idea I even made a mistake at the time.
Oh, all right.
So when I found out, me being who I am, I went to my boss. I said, "Hey, look, this is what I made. I made a mistake. Those mistakes could cost the company money."
Yeah.
So they wrote me up and fired me.
Damn.
It was just like that. Yeah. That was a thing of a lot of management. You know, there were brand new management that took over from the VP all the way down to the branch manager. They started getting
So they
rid of
had
people.
no attachment to you. You were just a paycheck.
Correct. I was
Gotcha.
the last one out of 20 to get fired.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
So whatever. A month went by. I started working at a new company where the guy that originally hired me took me over there.
So he made the same mistake twice.
No, he didn't. I was there about 8 months, and the company closed.
All right. That's not you. Yeah. Okay.
Right, that's not me. I landed at another company. I was there for 4 years.
Right.
I made a choice to venture off in the logistics field and to actually the company where I met Dan.
Okay.
I was essentially their logistics manager. I did that for about 8 months, and they laid me off because they couldn't afford me anymore.
All right.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So right there, we're at 1, 2, we're at 4, right?
Okay.
We're at 4. This is back to now. We're about 2018. This is where it goes.
Oh no! All right.
So after that, I landed in a place. I was there a month and a half. I could not stand it. I said goodbye and I walked right out.
Dale. Out.
Yeah. Then I landed at another place where actually the wife of the guy that hired me the first time brought me into the company where she was at. I was there 2 years.
So they keep making this mistake.
I was there 2 years. COVID hit. I got laid off.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
So then I landed at a company where I was 6 months without work.
All right.
And I needed to start working.
Yeah.
You know, Catherine I had just started through her cancer stuff. And we were very unclear on what was going to happen. So I said, you know what? I'm going to take another job. You know, I had to start working. I was living off the government. I was great. I was making decent amount of money.
Yeah.
So I took a job making
my
less.
dime. How dare
Yes.
you?
I took a job making less than what I would normally take. Then landed. I was there between June and February. So I was there, 8 months, more or less? June, 8 months.
Okay.
I was there 8 months. Then I got the job offer of where I just left. I was there 4 months, more money. Now, after 4 months of being where I'm at, I got another job offer, a lot more money. So I'm taking the dive. But now, how does that look on the individual? When you start putting on your resume, this.
The scroll.
Right. You know, it looks as I'm not a loyal employee.
Yeah. Or you're not dependable, or no, that's a tough conundrum right there. So,
but you see, this is where, like I told my new boss when he interviewed me, I go, look, I normally don't go looking for work after 4 months. I go, there's a lot of things that are going on at the company where I'm at, where they're moving locations, and I didn't want to go all the way out there to where they were going.
Yeah.
I mean, my new job is literally across the street from where I was at.
Okay.
I'm in the same location.
Yeah. It's just nearby. So
Right. And
it's convenient for you too.
Right.
Good.
So I go around and say, hey, look, this is not what I normally do.
Right.
I want to land somewhere and stay there. And this is the plan. I told her, I said, don't judge me based on what you've seen. Judge me based on what you're going to see. And then you make your determination. I sold it. I got the job. But now,
Nice.
there's plenty of jobs out there.
Yeah, there is.
Now, right now, companies are going to take whatever they could get because people don't want to work.
Nope. They're enjoying the checks.
Well, I think it's stopped out here already in Florida.
Maybe.
if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I'm not sure. We'll check on that.
So, with that being said, how's that look on the individual? What are your takes?
Well, I mean, no, that the gaps and things like that, they make your case harder. I mean, imagine it is hard. You look like a gamble. Like, all right, he seemed to be cool for 8 years, and then all of a sudden, he's been hopscotching, hopscotching jobs, and even at one point, he had this massive gap here where he didn't want to work. So, like, what's his issue? How many AA meetings is this guy going to? What's the problem here? So, it's tough because, like what you said, a lot of it is circumstantial. Company goes down, or they make decisions that completely put you in a place where it's just not feasible for you to continue working there.
Mm-hmm.
But and then you start running into that problem where you're gonna find that one boss that looks at you and they'll give you a shot, even though they're unsure of you and things like that. It's best to be consistent.
I think, like in my case, what really has helped me out is the fact that, and even where I just left, they went back, they checked my reference because we had people in common.
Right, and I was just
that
about
we
to
knew.
say the one thing that'll save you though is a good reference. Like
Right.
you can have 10 jobs in 10 years, but if the people if you've kept track of your references and each one of those provides a reason, like a good reason as to why you left or why you no longer work there, then nothing can be said. Yeah, look, he's had 10 jobs in 10 years, but here this happened, here this happened. This one he screwed up, but here this happened. And for the most part, the guy's just, a victim of just bad timing.
Well, I would tell you this. I mean, when I've interviewed, I'm very honest with people. And I'm going to sit here and tell you, hey, look, when I go from this company, they let me go. They let me go. Why? Because I made this mistake. I go, when you look at it, I had just jumped into the freight forwarding side. I wasn't sure of all the rules and that had to be done. And obviously I wasn't trained right because I made that mistake twice in a matter of a week. And I tell them, I go, I went ahead and I said, look, this was my mistake. This is my mistake. And I self-disclosed it. I self-disclose my errors because I believe that in order to fix something, you got to come up with the truth of it. You can't just go ahead and sit back and try to hide it. So, and then also my references, where I'm at now, the guy's like, oh yeah, I spoke to so-and-so from the airline. She spoke very highly of you. He's like, you know her pretty well. I said, well, I don't know her personally. I know her just on a very professional level. And when I handled that account at the airline, I did everything I could do for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that helps.
There you go. Someone will vouch for you. If you again, you can have a ton of jobs in a short amount of time. If you didn't do anything to completely destroy the company, or you weren't some jerk who took a bunch of days off, showed up late every day, left early, snuck out for lunches, made your 1 hour lunch a 2 or 2.5 hour lunch constantly, somebody will vouch for you. And that's all it takes.
Yeah.
That's all it takes. So, I mean, because you can't help, from what you described, you can't help 90% of what you told me. So, it does put you in a bit of an uphill position. You got to prove a little bit more, but
right.
You find that right person and they'll back you up. And that should be enough for any boss to be like, all right, I'll see if he lasts 2 months and go from there.
Of course.
Go from there. So when did you start the new gig?
I start Tuesday.
You start Tuesday. Okay. Not to get too personal. Beneficial for you pay-wise? Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. See, that's it right there. It's all that matters.
Well, it was funny because when they first called me, You know,
Mm-hmm.
I sat there and I had a conversation for about a good 20, 30 minutes.
Get a feel for you. Mm-hmm.
Well, no, this was already when they made me they made me an unofficial verbal offer, then they made me an official verbal offer, and then they made me the official written offer.
There you go.
You know, so but it was funny because I spoke to the lady and they gave me their numbers and I'm like, nope. I go, this is how much I want. I'm like, you want me to make the move? This is what I want.
This is how Frank works.
And she's like, well, let me try.
Yeah,
And we'll see. I was like, okay. And mind you, I knew that I overbid myself, just based on the industry standard of pay for what I do.
Right.
And the first day goes by, I didn't hear from her. I said, shit.
Make them sweat.
Did I shoot myself in the foot? Next day go by. It's 9:00 in the morning. I haven't heard from her. I'm like, damn. And I had the luxury that I was working from home that day. So 10:30, 11 o'clock, pick up the phone, I call.
They made you sweat.
I'm like, nothing. I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, this is not good. 2 o'clock came by, nothing. I called her again. Nothing.
That's negotiations right there. Who's gonna break? Who's gonna crack first?
At 5:30 came around, and I said, all right, this will be my last freaking phone call. Nothing. I'm like, well, I guess I oversold myself, and they gave the job to someone else. I get a phone call at 6:30. Hey, Frank. Sorry I haven't gotten a hold of you. It's been a busy day, but hey, we got to your number. I was like, great. When do I start?
Nice.
And you know what? The onboarding process, dude, it's crazy. It's, I had to do a background check, which is fine.
Right.
I had to do a drug test, which is fine. And then I was like, all right, so when should I give my 2 weeks notice? Should I give it after I have my offer letter? Or should I wait just in case to get everything in order? So I was like, all right, got the offer letter. Let me do the background check. Got that. All right. I got scheduled to do my drug test. I did my drug test, and then I gave my 2 weeks notice. Lo and behold, my drug test got screwed up by the company that does it. When they tell you, hey, sign here, make sure everything matches, right?
Yeah.
Well, guess what? I signed. I didn't look at all the detailed numbers. One piss sample is one number. The other piss sample is another number.
Someone's trying to set you up on the inside.
Yeah. So the lady calls me back. Hey, Farrell, I know you're watching. So the lady calls me back. And she's like, look, no fault of yours, but this is what happened. I was like, great. I'm like, look, I already gave my 2 weeks notice.
Frank was
no
like,
worries.
They didn't catch
I
it.
will take care of this. Not a problem. No. I'm squeaky clean in that. But hey, at the end of the day, I got the job. Everything came out great.
Congratulations, bro. Good for you.
Can't complain.
Good for you, man. Good for you. Glad to hear it. Make it work. Make it stick. Make it count. And
make it last for
more than 2 months.
3 years.
Good for you, bro. Glad to hear it, man.
Yeah. Hey, guys. You guys that are out there listening. And I never say this at the beginning when I should. I always say it for some reason at the end of the show. Maybe because we're just getting off, and I remember. But look, share us with your friends. Share us with your enemies.
We need to make a song out of this.
Share us
telling you.
with your frenemies.
Share us with your friends.
Share us with your brothers. Share us with your sisters. Look, share us with people you think need to hear this or need to hear Carlos and I talk. I'm going to use Carlos's words. We have lost the art of speaking.
We have.
And that is the one thing that Carlos and I are trying to bring back to everybody that listens to our show. Whether you're a first-time listener, whether you're an always listener, whether you listen sometimes. You're going to see it, Carlos and I, we're going to disagree. But we always keep the conversation.
And keep it civil.
We know that regardless, at the end of the conversation, we're friends.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't ask for anything else. You don't let politics, you don't let religion, and at this point, you don't let your gender standing, whatever you claim yourself to be as, stand in the way of friendship.
True. Very good. Very good. That's heartfelt, man.
It is. I mind you, there's no alcohol today.
Yeah, look at that. True.
So, you have any final words, my friend?
No, man. Good show. Great conversation. I'm happy for you and your advancements. I call it an advancement if you're getting some more cheese. Yes. So good for you, buddy. Good for you. Good for you. And I hope it works out really well. We'll have Dan on next week, so there'll be plenty of bickering.
Actually, I forgot to tell you. Guess who we're gonna have on?
Who?
I'm trying to get Sketchy on.
Oh, there's gonna be even more bickering then.
I right now I know. I mean, Sketchy's not on today because he's on a date.
Good for him. All right.
He left us. He left us for a piece of ass. Which, hey, you know what? I would too.
You would too, man. I'd be here by myself. Like, all right.
Yeah. So Sketchy, good job. Sketchy, hope you get laid. Enjoy yourself.
You sold this out. Shoot.
I don't know if he's gonna be on Friday or on Wednesday. Carlos, if he's on Wednesday, you gotta try to make that one.
I'll see what I can do now that I'm off. I mean, at this point, the baby's the queen of the house.
Of course.
I'll see what I can do. I'll see what I can do to
figure it out.
I'll come in and just start a fight and then go out.
Exactly.
All right.
Hey, look, whether you agree with what we're speaking or whether you're, hold on, I got to go back into my wordings because I'm sober and I can't remember our little slogan here.
That is a problem. When sobriety is the issue.
You want to know what the problem was? Is that I started it wrong. and here I'm going to start again.
Well, like you told me last time, we can clean this up. I can try it again.
I said that?
You did.
Oh, God.
Couple weeks ago.
All right, here we go. We're going to clean it up and we're going to start again.
Clean it up.
You might not agree with what we're speaking, or you might agree with what we're speaking, but we will always be speaking it real. I'll see you Wednesday.
Everybody have a great weekend. Good night.
Happy 4th.